Since opening its gates in 2001, Chicagoland Speedway has been defined by one thing: pure, unpredictable racing. This 1.5-mile tri-oval in the heart of the Midwest quickly built a reputation for finishes that leave you breathless. None more famous than 2002, when Sam Hornish Jr. edged Al Unser Jr. by just 0.02 of a second in one of the closest finishes in motorsports history. Championships have been shaped here, fuel gambles have gone right and wrong. This place has delivered time and time again. When NASCAR took center stage, the story didn't change, it only got louder. Chicagoland became a track where the fastest car didn't always start up front, and the smartest driver didn't always play it safe. From Kevin Harvick's late race heroics to Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. mastering the groove, to side-by-side battles that stretched for laps at a time, this track rewards those willing to chase the edge. Now, after years sitting silent, Chicagoland Speedway roars back to life, rejoining the NASCAR schedule with something to prove, and a legacy waiting to be reborn. The racing will be tight, the stakes will be high, and the next unforgettable finish could just be moments away. Tonight, it's the Windy City 225, presented by Coles County Speedway, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the virtual Chicagoland Speedway Race 6 of the IROC Challenge Series. The Windy City 225, presented by Coles County Speedway. Practice and qualifying in the books already. Warm-up session underway, a short 5-minute warm-up before we get hot and heavy into the action here tonight. Taking a look at the drivers in this series, there is quite a few, and not all of them will make it to the starting grid here tonight. The column on the left, the top 25 drivers in the point standings, they're locked into this race for certain. Zach Millett, Garrett Johnston, TJ Majors, and the like. Right side of your screen, drivers that need to qualify into this race if they want to compete this evening. Fastest 15 drivers not locked in will end up making the race. That number likely to change hit and miss depending on who makes the session, but that's just kind of the average. Schedule-wise, coming up, of course, we've got Chicagoland Speedway tonight. We go to Iowa on April 7th, Darlington on the 14th, Michigan, Charlotte, Talladega, Bristol, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Pocono, and Homestead. And don't forget the All-Star race at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I thank the sponsors for this season: Fast Laps, Open Hearts, Coles County Speedway, R&R Racewear, Meff's Shirt Shop, Johnston Timbers LLC, 3 Wide with DJG, Charity Motorsports, and Care for Kids. Race details for tonight: 150 laps the distance, 70% fuel on board, 4 tire sets available over the wall, no fast repairs, and 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. Just about a minute left in this warm-up session. We'll get right into our starting grid and then get this race underway. David Green making an appearance here tonight in the IROC Challenge Series. And Timmy Schofield alongside. Black and red flags about to fall onto the session, which will officially end our warm-up and transition us right into our starting grid. We'll get this one underway momentarily. Mike Koch in the stream chat earlier on says, good evening, let's go racing. Mike, thanks for checking in. Those of you watching, feel free to jump into that stream chat. The busier, the better. Try to interact with you guys as much as possible during these things. With Without further ado, though, let's get to it. Our starting grid on the pole position tonight with a lap time of 30.781 seconds. It's the short track ace, Kyle Turzak. Outside front row, missed it by 49 thousandths of a second. From Team Conti, it's Zach Millett. Row number 2, it's Jonathan Cofield and Casey Bentz. Row 3, it's Adam Benefiel and Brian McCann. Row 4 belongs to Carson Quapple and Austin Beers. Row 5, Cameron Brownlow and Chuck Sweeting. Starting in the 11th position, it'll be the 29 of Christian Strader, with Slade Benish in the number 93, starting 12th. 13th starter, it's Kyle Campbell. Ryan Blanchard to be 14th. 15th belongs to James Connolly. Andrew Williams, the 16th spot. Neil Quick in the 2 will start 17th with TJ Majors to his outside. 19th starter, it's Christopher Harrison. Dylan Pettis will start 20th. Devin Aker, 21st. 22nd, Gavin Hinson. Chris Wally in the 51 will start 23rd. 24th belongs to Marty Lindley. Evan Vecchia will be the 25th starter. 26th, Garrett Johnston. Adam Pettit, 27th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. making the field, 28th starter. Steve Durbin, 29th. Josh Mears, 30th. 31st starter, it's Dan Dixon. Chris Mefford, 32nd. 33rd starter, it's Brent Butler. Brandon Mefford will be 34th. Matt Mormon, 35th. Kyle Hardy, 36th. Jason Nilgis, 37th. Timmy Schofield, 38th. Chris Goins will start 39th. And shotgun on the field in the 40th position belongs to Matt Kopp. It looks like we got a couple more. 41st is Doug Wysocki and Kyle White. The rest of the drivers here appears did not make the field. Your starting grid here from Chicagoland Speedway. Field already out onto the speedway for just one pace lap as we're ready to get this one underway. Race details again, if you missed it, 150 laps the distance here tonight. 70% fuel load on board. 4 sets of tires laying over the wall. No fast repairs, 0 zip zillage, and 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. Ready to get things underway. Pace car lights are out. Front row will be Kyle Turzak and Zach Millett. This is a head-to-head that we've longed to see. Turzak so fast in the late model stocks and a couple of seasons back in the IROC Challenge Series. Going to try his hand here on the intermediate speedway in this O'Reilly Auto Parts Series car in the IROC Challenge Series. Green flag waves, and we are underway from Chicago. Field spills out on the back straightaway that isn't so straight as Zach Millett takes over the race lead as they roll into turn number 3. Now the middle of 3 and 4. Millett in charge. Turzak, Cofield, Benefiel, and Quapple the top 5. They're off turn 4, back to the stripe. Millett will lead lap number 1. Drivers settling in here. Carson Quapple in the 5th spot alongside the 27 of Casey Bentz. Bentz to the outside trying to make a go at it. 3rd place Cofield steps on a line for a moment. He was quick last week at Fontana. Now the 61 of Connolly, who was fastest in practice earlier on. He dropped it all the way down to the apron there, coming across start-finish, trying to shortcut the speedway just ever so slightly. And we're 3 wide behind him for a moment. Off turn number 2, door banging, there's contact. One car out of shape. TJ Majors gets shoved down to the apron. Maybe some hurt feelings and maybe a little bent sheet metal, but everybody continues on. Majors slips back to P16. Ryan Blanchard now in the 67, top of the racetrack. And he was one of the drivers to the outside when contact ensued while they were 3 wide off at turn number 2. Connolly slips up the bottom of the racetrack just a touch. Now he's stuck in the middle with the 67 on the top side and the 24 there below. That's Andrew Williams. Blanchard now gets to the bottom of the racetrack. A little more breathing room for the 67. Chuck Sweeting in the 75 up the racetrack. holds the position, number 9. Adam Benefield running in the 4th spot. Number 0 on the door. Number 40 in the timing and scoring. Adam Benefield from Team Conti. I just want to apologize ahead of time, guys. Still battling a pretty nasty cold, so if I go quiet, it's because I'm coughing up a lung in the background and I'm hitting that mute button, so don't worry, I'll be right back when it happens. Zach Millett continues to lead. He's led them all to this point. 7 laps up on the timing and scoring here. Terzak runs second. John Cofield, Adam Benefield, and Carson Kvapil, the top 5. Carson Kvapil now under pressure. Austin Beers looks to the inside. Beers in the white and green number 64, low side of the racetrack. Kvapil in the familiar number 1 Tracker Boats Chevrolet. Kvapil will be the number 5, though, in the timing and scoring. Ooh, almost contact there with Kvapil and Benefield. Benefield stays up on the banking of the racetrack while Kvapil goes down to the apron. Might actually have him clear here into 1. Kvapil could have drifted up a little further up the racetrack, but chose to keep it low. Still takes the spot, so move the number 1 machine at Carson Kvapil up to P4. Beers was unable to follow him through. Wow, Kvapil drives it real deep in there, almost right into the back bumper of John Cofield, that is. Christian Strader making a move here to the bottom of the racetrack alongside the 61 of Conley. Strader will settle in behind. Chris Wally, Neil Quick, Garrett Johnston. Wally in the white and black number 51 up the racetrack, just inches off the door of Neil Quick in the 2. Keep an eye on Carson Kvapil. He is hunting the front right now. Kvapil alongside Cofield. Didn't quite have him clear off turn number 2, but the run down the backstretch into 3 might change things. Cofield did have a better run down the backstretch. We got Michael Murray in the chat, says, let's go Brownlow. Thanks for checking in, Mike. On board with Cofield. Battle continues. It seems Cofield has adjusted his line a bit. He's been able to hold off the advance from the 1 of Kvapil. Kvapil remains in the 4th spot. Carson really giving the car everything he's got right now in the early running here at Chicagoland Speedway, trying to get everything out of it he can, see what it's capable of here in real race conditions. A little bit of traffic, a little dirty air to play with. He's already moved up 3 spots from the drop of the green flag. Thought he was going to continue marching towards the front, but Cofield able to make some adjustments here out on the racetrack to stay ahead of the 1. Mark Cofield in the chat says, need a long green flag run. Always a good thing. And old Tommy Janikowski back in the chat. Thanks for checking in again, Tommy. He's here almost every single race. Battle for the lead, though. Terzak looks to the bottom of the racetrack, and the number 56 alongside Zach Millett. Inches apart off turn number 4. Up the racetrack. Millett hangs onto it, doesn't lift. That's going to open the door for Cofield as well. Cofield now to the back bumper of Zach Millett. Into turns 1 and 2. A 3-way battle for the top spot. Now Carson Quapple is going to become part of this picture. Cofield just quickly going from third to battling with Millett. Some contact. Trading paint in the middle of the corner. Millett and Cofield. Millett survives the attack for now. Terzak, Cofield side by side behind him. Cofield playing peekaboo around the rearview mirror of Zach Millett. Now up the racetrack to 58, trying different lanes again. Was able to save him from getting passed by Quapple. We'll see if it helps him get around Millett. Last lap by Zach Millett, a 31.35. Cofield was a 31.25. Four drivers starting to build some separation back from 5th to the rear of the field. 5th place is now Austin Beers. He's up 3 positions. Biggest mover so far, it looks like Garrett Johnston up 8 spots. Further down the line, though, Steven Steffen up 19 positions. Still running 28th, but a lot of ground made up early on. Checking on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Started in the 28th position, now has worked his way quietly up into 21st. Lots of racing still to go here from Chicagoland. Back to the top 4, Carson Quapple, Kyle Terzak battling it out. Quapple's going to take the spot. Terzak falls to 4th. On board with Austin Beers. Here is starting to work in the top lane just a little bit, at least almost the top. Gained some ground there on this battle between Quapple and Terzak. Now right behind the 56 of Kyle Terzak for the 4th position. Millett still able to hang on to the top spot. He's led every lap. Had to work for it for a little bit. Had some pressure about 10 laps ago. Handling it well now as Cofield runs in the tire tracks of the 31 machine. Back down to the line. Lap 25 goes up on the board. 1/5 distance here at Chicagoland. Got Shady Acres 28 says, good evening, Steve. Awesome back on live, my friend. Thanks for having us. We certainly appreciate that. Hillbilly Racing 42, Cofield for the win tonight. He's got a good shot at it right there in that second spot, just about a half car length off the back bumper of Zach Millett. Millett with 2 wins this season. Love to make it 3 in this heavily stacked field. Well, Austin Beers still working on Kyle Terzak. Might have had him cleared, but not just yet. Might be 3 wide here. Terzak trying to go up the middle with Carson Quapple up top. Oh, up the racetrack. Beers just inches off the the left door of Kyle Terzak. And now it brings Andrew Williams into the mix. Williams just kind of came out of nowhere, takes the position from Austin Beers. What a battle we've got going on here for about the 3rd, 4th, 5th positions. One car off the racetrack, didn't catch who it was. I think it might have been Neil Quick. Off-road excursion through the grass here, coming down to start-finish. I don't think he hit anything. Neil Quick now down 8 positions back in 25th. What a blast we're having watching this battle with Kyle Terzak and Carson Quapple. Terzak top of the racetrack now. They've kind of switched up spots, but Andrew Williams really making his way forward. May have just been saving his stuff for a while because he's come on very strong. He's up 12 positions, started back in 16th. Terzak now hanging on to that 3rd spot as Williams now putting pressure on Carson Quapple. Chuck Sweeting in the mix here as well. We got Goose Singh says, let's go Connolly. Connolly now up to the 7th position. He's picked up 8 spots. Ooh, close quarters there. Beers, Connolly, Quapple, and Austin Beers gets hooked. Beers in the fence into turn number 3. Caution on the speedway, and Austin Beers in trouble here early at Chicagoland.
We'll be pissed off if somebody else on the racetrack before this race is over with.
Beers sitting broadside in turn number 3. Hopefully everybody can get through. So caution number 1 of the night here in the IROC Challenge Series, the Windy City 225, presented by Coles County Speedway, and it involves Austin Beers, and I believe that was James Connolly. Let's take a look. We'll have to get an onboard here from Connolly in a minute. I don't know if Beers cleared himself or if just that not straight back straightaway may have been the cause of this one. Back this up. I'm going to jump on the roof cam here at Connolly and see what it looked like from that perspective. It was close. It was real close. Pit stop's underway. Likely to be 4 tires and fuel for everybody up and down pit row. We got about 30 laps on this set of tires. Busy, busy pit road. Austin Beer is going to sit there in the pits for a little bit here, try to get some repairs made to that number 64. It's a little bent up, but it's not horrible. I don't know how bad the suspension is on that machine right now, but we'll see if we can get them repairs made and get back out there and contend. Had a fast race car battling up inside the top 5. '61 at Connolly, involved in that with Austin Beers. Doesn't look terrible. A little rough around the edges on the right front, but I think it'll be okay. I want to go back to that one more time here. If I can go back to this replay, I want to show you what it looks like from basically the driver's eye. It's a camera mounted in the driver's helmet here on Connolly. We'll go full speed what he sees. There you have it. So pace car lights are off. That means we're going back racing in no time flat. Field, I believe this is turns 3 and 4. Pace car going to make the left turn and head back into pit road here. We'll get this underway. Front row will be Millett and Terzak yet again. Except Millett will be the control car coming to green. Green flag back in the air. Millett gets clear at Terzak through 1 and 2. Down to the line, Millett continues to lead. Terzak second, Quapple running in third, but a lot of pressure out the back window with Andrew Williams and Cofield looking for more. Williams in that number 24 Camaro looking awful stout. Got settled into that first run. Now he made up some track positions. Up 11 spots in 5th here, and 4th if he can get clear of the 58. Still a side-by-side battle behind Quapple. Didn't last long. Williams settles now back in the 5th spot. Schofield gets clear. Williams, though, back on the charge. Has a run off at 2. Not enough to get alongside Cofield. Cofield hammers down with a little bit of draft off the number 1 at Quapple. Millett still leads this thing, but Terzak is hanging right there with him. Last lap for the top 2. Millett was a 31.24. 31.47. Terzak was a 31.52. So they're right there, just about a half tenth away. trading the fast laps here, lap after lap between these top two. Quapple, though, closing into the top two. Carson was really fast out of the gate in that first run. I think he might have pushed a little bit too hard as the pace of that Tracker Boats #1 fell off just a touch prior to the caution. But with a reset here, fuel on board, fresh Goodyear Racing Eagles underneath, and we'll see if he can challenge for these top two positions. Now to the bottom of the top 10, Ryan Blanchard running in 10th. Blanchard in the number 67, that red and dark blue machine. Christian Strader in tow in the 11th position. He's applying pressure too. Another fast guy out there in the number 15, Garrett Johnston. Don't sleep on him. Top 15, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that number 8 Chevy Camaro. Quietly working his way forward. He's up 13 positions in the 15th spot with Adam Pettit to the back bumper. Timmy Schofield, James Connolly. I don't know who's passing who here. Looks like Schofield might have the run. Again, Connolly with a little bit of right front damage on that machine. After contact with Austin Beers down the backstretch put us under our first caution. Might be okay in traffic, but if he gets some clean air on that, I just don't know if it's going to be that slick in the wind. Also, that contact, significant enough, may have thrown off the suspension settings in the front end of that number 61. Steering wheel may not be straight anymore. Toe definitely not going to be perfect. Connolly running back in the 20th position. Cameron Brownlow back in 25th. Cameron in the number 7 up top. William Tyndall below him. And Neil Quick in there as well. Almost some contact. Close call with Tyndall and the 7 of Brownlow. Steve Durbin in the number 81. Josh Mears in the 36. It's just outside the top 25. Gavin Hinson way down the bottom of the racetrack. Ooh, Brownlow up in the fence. 3 wide, gonna thread the needle. Mears with a brazen move up the cut. Austin Beers back in the 41st position. Still on the lead lap, but not for too much longer. He's about 3 seconds ahead of the leader right now. Definitely damaged still on that machine. Good to see him still out there fighting. But you can hear it. Definitely off the pace, out of the draft. I'm sure Beers would love to see another yellow come out here, give him a chance to work on that thing, make it a little bit better. Back to the race lead, Zach Millett, Kyle Terzak still 1 and 2. Battling behind them, Carson Quapple and the 58 of John Cofield. I'll tell you one thing, I know we're here at a racetrack, these guys are in race cars, but Carson Quapple, he definitely showed up to race here tonight. Every opportunity he's trying to take it. Wants to get to that race lead, getting that clean air, and he's not willing to give up third to Cofield. Seen the last couple of laps here, Millett really trying to break up the draft behind him, not trying to give any advantage to Kyle Turzak. He's managed to gain about a tenth and a half on the 56 in doing so. See Millett just off the wall there, half a lane, comes back up, open up his entry into turn number 3. 2 to 3 car lengths the advantage, back to Turzak. Quapple runs 3rd, Cofield 4th, Andrew Williams now 5th. Keep an eye on the 24. He was able to come on real strong late in the end of that first run. We'll see if that's the same. If that's the case, he's certainly going to be a contender tonight if we continue to run long. Turzak touched the bottom of the racetrack there just a touch. It shot him up the racetrack about a groove and a half. Still about 2.5 tenths the advantage for Zach Millett over the 56, but Carson Quapple tracking him down. Quapple is there. Take a peek into turn 3, decides to settle in behind, but now goes back to the bottom of the racetrack. This for the 2nd position. Quapple on the bottom, Turzak up top. Battle behind them. Adam Benefield and Andrew Williams. Williams in the number 24, the white and orange machine on the outside lane. Benefield tucks in behind TJ Majors now up into the 7th position. Benefield steps to the low side of the racetrack, gets alongside again. Kyle Campbell in the 03. Christian Strader, Ryan Blanchard. This 11th, 12th, and 13th on the racetrack. Ryan McCann, TJ Majors now battling. McCann right to the back bumper of the 6 out of turn 4. Majors loses the rear end of the car just a little bit. But now a battle for the race lead. Lap traffic, Austin Beers going to go down a lap here. Millett gets clear. Turzak was right there. It was just maybe a half car length up to the door of Zach Millett prior to that. Millett may have used Austin Beers as a bit of a pick, but Turzak now all over the back bumper of Zach Millett in turn 3. Turzak just a tick faster that last lap. We're talking 100th of a second, and that is all. You see Austin Beers there, now a lap down. Still the only, but the first car 1 lap down. If we catch a caution, he should get the lucky dog and then get another opportunity to get that car a little bit better. Only had 1 caution so far. In fact, let's take a look at the recap to this point. For Zach Millett, the leader, lap 55 of 150. We've had 1 caution for 3 laps and only 1 lead change, and it was brief at that. That might have been actually during our pit cycle. Turzak taking a look into 3. Millett leaves the door open. Millett's just going to let him go here, tuck back in. No real fight out of the 31. Millett's a fast driver out there, but he's also very smart behind the wheel. Not going to burn up his stuff, knowing that we've got a lot of opportunity for long green flag runs here tonight. Settle in behind Turzak, but now Cofield has gotten clear of Carson Quapple up to the 3rd spot, and he may be pressuring Millett here momentarily. Top top four, really putting some separation back to fifth on back. Andrew Williams, that fifth place machine. So Andrew's got some trouble now too as Benefield is back to the inside. This battle's been going on for at least 10 or 15 laps. Meanwhile, Cofield going to take the spot from Zach Millett here. He might lose two. Wappel tried to shove it down to the bottom of the racetrack and go three wide. Didn't have the space or the momentum. Now goes up the racetrack, runs the tire tracks of Zach Millett. Side by side for second. Cofield on the bottom, Millett up top. Millett survives the attack, stays in the second spot now. Cofield lost connection for just a brief moment there. And by connection, I mean it just like it sounds, internet connection. Terzak, though, turning on the jets. He's got a half-second lead over Zach Millett as now he's going to put another car a lap down. This will be the 13. And Kyle White in contact. Terzak up the racetrack. Terzak was trying to lap Kyle, and the caution comes out as they make contact down the racetrack. Terzak's got to hold the brake here. Whoa, one driver up top, barely missing the 56. Terzak sits stationary, waiting for the field to pass. Kyle White is getting lapped by Kyle Terzak, who had a half-second margin over second place at the time. Suboptimal for the 56. Let's see what happened. For some reason, Kyle just turns left there. I really don't know what that's about. I'm watching it from this perspective here. Watch the outside car here, the orange and white, number 13. Rear end of the car is kind of dancing a little bit, and then he just goes hard left there and kind of hooks Terzak into the fence. I don't know if he overcorrected. Again, we talked about this with that back straightaway not being straight. It is subtly curved down the backstretch, and sometimes if you're not paying attention, it can bite you, and all of a sudden you overreact, turn left to avoid it, and I think that may have been what happened. Meanwhile, pit lane open again here. Second caution of the night. Ironically, just about 30 laps after the previous. Millett finishes his pit work. He'll leave the pit box. 15 flat was the stop. Cameron Brownlow stayed out on the racetrack, though, in the number 7. He picks up a lap lead. Kyle White sits there as the wave-around car when the time comes, but I don't know if he will necessarily get it. With the incident point involving the caution there, we'll see if he gets the wave around anyway. I think he may. So again, it's 4 tires and fuel up and down pit road for just about everybody. Not sure if Austin Beers will be lucky enough to get the lap back here. Find out. Tommy Janikowski says, I wonder if those bumps on the backstretch were part of that. I mean, it's possible. This place is a little wore out. It is bumpy. It has what we call character. But I think the biggest portion of it, it's not a straight back straight. It's just gently curved all the way down. So if you're not paying attention, and that red paint on the wall with the logos, I don't know, it just throws my eyeballs off a lot of times when I'm out here driving. I've driven into that backstretch wall plenty of times. You're so used to all these other cookie-cutter racetracks having a perfectly straight backstretch. That's just not the case here. I personally think, unless there's something that we missed earlier in the race, but I personally think Kyle White was just thrown off a bit by that curve on the backstretch and made an over-adjustment to stay off the wall, and unfortunately for Kyle Terzak, he got the brunt of it. So recap again, 62 laps of 150. Leader is Cameron Brownlow, who stayed out on the racetrack. Had 2 cautions for 6 laps and 2 lead changes. Pace car about to come back to pit lane. We'll get this one back underway.
Green flag.
Cofield thought about making it 3 wide there as Millett using the slower car as a pick. Off turn number 2, and they're fanning out 3-4 wide down the backstretch. Battle for the lead already. Carson Quapple goes to the inside on Zach Millett, looking for the top spot. Side by side off of turn number 4, coming back to start finish. Quapple may have led that lap. I think he did, but they're still not done. And the 1 gets him clear, so now Carson Quapple to the race lead. Millett to second. Battle is on behind him. TJ Majors and John Cofield side by side. Oh, close quarters. TJ cleared himself off the nose of the 58 with maybe an inch to spare. Majors will take the 3rd position. Now Andrew Williams and Cofield will be side by side. And look at that. Our top 3 drivers just ran their fastest laps of the race. Quapple at 31:13, Millett at 31:20, Majors the same. Robbie Adams in the chat referencing our last caution says it looked like he was trying to open up his turn entry up. Didn't realize where that other car was. That very well could have been too. Cofield sticks a nose the inside here. Andrew Williams tried to close the door, didn't have time to do it. They're side by side now. Off turn 4, back to the line. Cofield will have the nose of a spot, but they're still not done. Side by side into turn 1. Cofield, Williams up top in the orange and white number 24. Man, throw some Wheaties on that thing in the number 3, and you've got a hell of a paint scheme. Battle for the lead, possibly. Millett taking a look on Quapple again. There's battles all over the place. This top 10 has just been nuts tonight. Millett unable to complete the pass. Quapple will lead this lap. Millett will settle back in behind. Zach's got to run. And Carson's driving it real deep into the corner. Oh, big bump by Millett. Millett's got to worry about TJ Majors now as he's got him to the outside. Quapple driving his car deep into corner entry. That's why Millett was able to drive right back to that back bumper so quickly on exit. Millett backing his corners up a little bit more. Meanwhile, though, he loses the 2nd spot. TJ Majors now up to 2nd, and Millett's got his hands full with Williams and Cofield in tow, and they are both awfully fast here tonight. Williams just inches off the back bumper into 31. Contact with Cofield. That'll break the momentum of the 24 slightly. He'll go up the racetrack. Cofield gets clear. Here comes Brian McCann into the picture. McCann started 6th. He'd fallen back earlier on in this race, but now has worked his way back up just outside the top 5. McCann, an IROC Challenge Series veteran, as he gets to the bottom of the racetrack and almost gets into the 24. That opens the door a little for Adam Benefield, but Benefield gives him a little bit of a break. Stays tucked up on the back bumper. Christian Strader to the top. Turzak Racing in the chat says, well, that was fun until that happened. Glad to see you back, Steve. Glad to see you too, Kyle, man. Good to see you going fast out here on the big tracks. Oh, McCann into Williams, shoots him up the racetrack into the fence. Williams may have gotten some contact from the 0 of Benefield as well. Meanwhile, Quapple stretching his lead over TJ Majors. It's just under half a second. Does appear that the Kyle Turzak machine beyond repair as he still sits in pit lane. Oh, Cofield gets the wall. McCann does his best not to run him over, but now gets alongside. Lap 75 goes up on the board here. We're going to step aside, get a track limit side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. You won't miss a moment. We'll be right back.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Chicagoland Speedway, Carson Kvapil continues to lead and stretching his lead to the biggest we've seen all night long, just shy of a full second now, back to the 6 of TJ Majors. You see him just there in the frame. Zach Millett still runs third. Brian McCann has worked himself slowly but surely up into the top 5 in P4. Christian Strader now looking at the top 5 with Cofield still there in 6th. Side-by-side battle behind them, Williams and Benefiel. Williams takes the spot for now. Benefiel runs in the tire tracks. Further down the running order, Dale Earnhardt Jr. up to 12th. Again, a very quiet ride towards the front, but picking them off one by one as the caution comes out.
How you doing in there, kids?
Evan Vecchia in trouble here. Third caution of the night for the 17 machine. Looks like Steven Steffen involved in this as well. TV panel in the back missing off the number 21. Let's see what happened. Looks like we're catching a little late here. Connolly taking a run through the grass. Back it up. I'm just going to rewind it. I hate doing it this way, but might be our only option. I think this starts with the 21, Steven Steffen. And the 16, up the racetrack. Steffen out of the gas. Gets hit from behind by Connolly. And then chain reaction after that. Ooh, big hit after the fact. Pit lane open. Millett leads the race off pit road. Looks like fuel only for the 31. Wanted that track position. Saving himself a set of tires as well. Blanchard did the same. Kvapil, though, 4 tires and fuel. Hinson fuel only. Some strategies up and down pit road here. Let's go through it. So Millett fuel only. Blanchard fuel only. Carson Kvapil with 4 tires. Hinson fuel. Majors 4. Brent Butler with fuel. And everybody all the way down to Steven Steffen in 14th with 4 tires and fuel. Chris Wally in 15th went fuel only. Dale Jr. come out in the 16th spot. He also went 4 tires and fuel. So some different ideas on pit lane in this third caution of the night here at Chicagoland. Again, just past halfway, about 84 laps complete. Check the recap again, 86 of 150. Zach Millett shown as the race leader again. Had 3 cautions for 9 laps, and only 3 lead changes to this point. Which, man, the action that we've had here tonight, you'd think we would have had more than just 3, because it has been crazy, especially in the top 5, top 10. It's again the Windy City 225, presented by Coles County Speedway. Certainly appreciate their participation in the IROC Challenge Series over the years. Of course, the additional sponsors for this season, Fast Laps and Open Hearts, Meff's Shirt Shop, Coles County Speedway, R&R Racewear, Johnston Timbers LLC, 3 Wide with DJG, Charity Motorsports, and Care for Kids. Field formed up behind the iRacing pace cars. It gets set to head back down pit lane. We'll get this one back underway after caution number 3. Barney with the green in hand as we're ready to go back racing. There it is. Quapple fired off a little early. Had to check up, hit the brakes. Millett had the lead through turn 2, but the fresh tires of Carson Quapple going to fire off around behind him, take the top spot. Majors goes around the outside. Brian McCann now alongside Zach Millett. Fuel only stop, may not be helping him now, and Dale Jr.'s in the fence.
Caution's out.
Oh, and he gets clipped hard here at start-finish.
Drink there, buddy.
Still wrecking here, headed down into turn 1. Caution number 4, and Junior's just going to tow it back to the pits. Night over for the number 8 machine. Millett slipped to 5th spot on that restart. I don't know if he'll reconsider tires on this. It's kind of quick, but we'll see. Let's get a look at it. We saw most of it live. Let's go back and watch. Back it up a little further here. There was definitely some contact. So Junior there in the middle of the screen, the black and red number 8, up the racetrack, sliding up the racetrack in front of, I think that's Gavin Hinson. Just not quite clear. Two massive hits there. I think it was Kyle Pendergraph, I believe, in the 14. Devin Aker in the 96. Surprisingly enough, though, Zach Millett does come to pit lane, and some other drivers follow. Blanchard, Connolly, Hinson, granted they may have been involved in this incident. See if Millett opts for those tires now. Do have some drivers sharing pit boxes this weekend. So Millett opts for the 4 tires now, but he'll restart deep in the field in 24th. He's going to have a lot of work to do. I want to try and go back and watch this from Hinson's roof cam. Back it up a little further here. Yeah, Junior just wasn't quite clear of the 39. I think maybe Dale thought he was going to cut him a break there and let him in, but Hinson stayed on the power. So, a couple of quick cautions. Field out of turn number 2 will be green flag the next time by. Pace car lights are out, so we're ready to go racing yet again.
Green.
Green back in the air. Brian McCann alongside TJ Majors will take the second spot on the bottom of the racetrack. TJ in his second full season in the IROC Challenge Series been battling Brian McCann quite a bit over these last couple of seasons. They'll go at it again. Back to the line. McCann with second. Majors right to the back bumper. Now gets to the outside into turn 1. Ooh, a little bit of contact down the backstretch. Majors with the advantage into turn number 3. Hasn't quite cleared McCann, but pinching him down to the low side of the track. Majors able to open the wheel just a bit more, has the momentum off of 4 and takes the spot. So Majors back to second. Now McCann trying to hold off Chuck Sweeting, but here comes Andrew Williams to the bottom. Williams been very fast here tonight. Hasn't quite been out in front, but man, I think he's going to be dangerous. You put that number 24 in some clean air. Garrett Johnston now starting to march forward here. It's getting late at Chicagoland Speedway. It's time to go for the 15. He's up 4 spots. Sorry, 21 spots. My bad. Johnston starting 26th here tonight. There's one driver in the wall, the 92, Dan Dixon. Big bounce off the safer barrier by Dixon, able to keep it straight. Oh, up the racetrack, Sweeting real loose, saves it. It's going to cost him some positions here, though. Lost a lot of momentum off of 4. Meanwhile, Carson Quapple has jumped out to a full second advantage already over the field. Speaking of time to go, Zach Millett, remember he restarted about 24th? He's already 17th. Looking for 16th right here. Gonna take it from Kyle Hardy and keep marching forward. That'll put a little bit of clean air on the nose of the 31 as he continues to march forward. James Connolly is gonna follow him on through. Austin Beers still out on the racetrack, still trucking. Still on a lead lap in 25th. Now Carson Quapple on a Sunday drive here at Chicagoland. A full second plus back to TJ Majors in second. Then it's Brian McCann, Andrew Williams, Garrett Johnston, the top 5. Sweeting and Christian Strader here. Carson Kvapil just checking out. 1.2 seconds now over TJ. Carson with the fastest lap of the race right now, ran a 30.90. I don't know how long ago that was, but that is lightning fast. Nobody in the field under 31 seconds except for Carson Kvapil. Going to check in on Timmy Schofield here, the driver of the number 12 machine. Started deep in the field in 37th position, up into the 14th spot. Having a solid day right now, trying to jump that car into the top 10 here. Got a few positions to go, but about 50 laps to do it. Can certainly get it done. Battle with Daniel Dixon, Adam Benefield, John Cofield. Cofield's pace has fallen off a little bit here as the day has gotten a little later here at Chicagoland. Cofield was a solid top 3 or 4 car earlier on tonight. Now runs in the 7th position, trying to hold off to 0 of Adam Benefield. Adam's really run about that spot most of the night, kind of between 8th and 6th. 70% fuel load on board. We've yet to have a green flag pit stop tonight, but the question remains, with these pit stops happening at lap 84, I believe everybody's going to need to at least make one more stop for fuel before this one's all said and done. Will it happen under green flag? Will we get another caution? That remains to be seen. Anthony Mears in the chat says, good run going for Josh Mears tonight. Take a look at Josh. He's up in the 15th position. He started back in 30th, so definitely marching forward. Here side by side with Casey Benz. This would be the 14th position if Josh could get there. Shady Acres in the chat says they need to take that number 1 car to R&D. With all that said, the deficit from Kvapil back to TJ Majors, it's pretty close to what it was, but it is definitely shrinking. Majors now about 9/10 plus back from the 5/1. Last lap for TJ, just about a 0.5 quicker than Carson. And we're still not 100% sure about the fuel situation for everybody. Yellow flag would certainly make that a whole lot easier to work out, but right now, if we run green, if we continue to do so, I'm fairly certain everyone's going to need to stop. Tommy Janikowski says, yeah, virtual tire soaking. I'm sure there's a hacker out there that's tried it. Christian Strader now taking the spot from Dan Dixon. This is for 7th. Strader having a solid run here tonight, too. Qualified well. Just outside the top 10, runs 7th. Zach Millett still working his way back towards the front here. Has found himself into the 15th position. Be 14th if he can get clear of Casey Benz. Looks like Connolly's going to run up there with him. And Timmy Schofield would be next, but still not able to clear the 27. Millett's burning up his stuff here, trying to cut through this field and get some of that track position back. Certainly going to want a caution here. Just try to get caught back up, get everybody back on equal footing. I think Zach still has one remaining set of tires left. So Millett gets clear of the 27 of Benz. Now sets his sights on Tim Schofield, and then would be Adam Pettit. Lions Pride in the chat says, how can only get in this league? I think, how can I get in this league? I have 3,800 I rating and an A class. So you got to put you in touch with Chris Wally. He's the league owner of the IROC Challenge Series, but they've got over 50 drivers right now, to the point where we're literally sending drivers home based on qualifying right now. Top 25 drivers are locked in on points, so they're locked into the race, and everybody else, I think the next 15 drivers would need to make it in on time, depending on how many show up for that particular night's race. But IROC Challenge Series, check them out on Facebook. You can reach out to Chris Wally via that. If you're interested, I'm sure we can probably find a way to get you in here, but this race 6 of the season, I'm not sure if he's taking any more. We obviously don't need any more, but that's a conversation for you and him. David Schofield says, could use a brake rotor on pit road to spice this one up. I'll say this much. If there's a chunk of a brake rotor on pit road, there's chunks of brake rotor on the racetrack too. That was not a very big piece. Back out front, the deficit continues to shrink. Carson Quapple, I don't know if he's saving a little bit for later on, but TJ Majors is running him down. Kevin McCann in third, just a few car lengths off of TJ. Andrew Williams has been very strong tonight. He runs fourth. And Garrett Johnston now into the top 5, got clear of John Cofield. Adam Benefield shoves the nose to the bottom on John Cofield, unable to complete the pass or get further alongside, settles back in behind the 58. Meanwhile, Brian McCann under fire. Andrew Williams shoves it to the low side. The 3 and the 24 doing battle here at Chicagoland. Garrett Johnson gives a big-time push to Brian McCann and gets them all crossed up, but shoves him down into the corner. Williams may have checked up just in case, but it's going to cost him some track position. Now he's under fire. He's got trouble behind him. Cofield and I think a lap car up top. That might be Gavin Hinson. Hinson way up the racetrack, trying to keep out everybody's way. So it's Quapple, Majors, McCann still the top 3. Williams going to have to regroup here, gather his thoughts, and set sail back for the 3 of McCann and give it another go. And Chris Mefford on pit lane. I don't know if this is a scheduled stop, but this could be telling. Right side tires going on the 46 of Chris Mefford. It's likely to be a 4-tire stop. Mefford down and away. He'll head back out. So a scheduled stop for the 46 of Chris Mefford. He'll lose a lap in the meantime, but that means we may see some of these drivers start to peel off the next handful or 10 laps to make their final pit stop of the afternoon. Williams and Benefield now going at it. Adam looks to the inside of Andrew Williams into turn 3. They're side by side. Benefield way low on the racetrack. Found some grip down there, but the momentum going to carry the 24 at least halfway alongside. Neil Quick also on pit road now. So some green flag stops starting to trickle in here late at Chicagoland Speedway. Squapple continues to lead over TJ Majors, and now it's down to a car length and a half. Quapple dipping the left side, just in the grass here, but Majors is there. Down the backstretch, Quapple up the racetrack, dumps the dirty air on the nose of TJ Majors, where TJ is right there. Last couple of laps, TJ's been over a tenth faster than the one. 31 laps to go here from Chicagoland. Quapple been very strong here tonight, especially in the latter stages of this race. Majors takes a look to the bottom. Quapple closes the door. TJ got back to the power. Thought he was going to give him a little bit of a push. Gets the nose alongside. TJ did a good job carrying that momentum even on the low side of the track, and I think TJ may have led that lap with 30 laps to go. Battle for the race lead here late at Chicagoland. TJ Majors, Carson Quapple up top. I don't know if that was a wiggle or a block out of Quapple, but either way, Majors now back about a car length off the one. That's right on board with TJ Majors. Gets alongside into turn 3. TJ Majors takes the lead. So coming down to the line, it's official. New leader as Carson Quapple actually comes to pit lane. 28 laps to go, the one on pit road. Finally deciding it's time. We got Goose Sings in the chat, says, don't look now. Connolly back in the top 10. Yeah, 4-tire change, last set for Carson Quapple. Lights it up. Heads back out. Adam Benefield now the race leader as TJ Majors isn't going to wait more than 2 laps. He'll come down and make his stop right after Quapple. TJ into the pit box. Nice angle to get back out. Right side tires going on the 6. James Connolly now up into 3rd, and we got a gaggle of cars here with some coming to pit lane. Adam Pettit is one of them, sliding it into the pits, trying to straighten it out, and he slides and he'll hit the pit wall. Pettit rights himself with a lot of track position loss there. And the caution comes out. Oh no!
Yeah, but I'll leave this one on you. If you want to stay out, we'll stay out.
Andrew Williams potentially? I'm not sure. Definitely some damage on the 24. We're just going to have to rewind it and see. I'm not getting any indication from iRacing as to what this was. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we had some trouble here. Oh, Connolly. Big time hit for Williams. Connolly gets into the right rear of the 24. I think that was our caution. So that shakes up everything, and I think that leaves only 4 cars on the lead lap now. Cofield, Zach Millett, Connolly, and Mears. They get one or two of these drivers back on the lead lap through the waiver rounds and the lucky dogs, but we shall see. But this puts a pin in every strategy now. Yellow flag pit stops now. Schofield, Millett, Connolly, and Mears are all going to come down. Zach does have one more set of tires sitting over the wall. I'd be willing to bet so does everybody else. Schofield's going to beat Millett out of the pits. G-Main 7 says, somehow that's Tyndall's fault. So what a turn of events here at Chicagoland Speedway. That trapped a bunch of cars a lap down. We're going to see how this pans out here. These drivers may end up getting the wave around here. Good portion of them at least, but will there be enough time? Trying to get that running order squared away. They may need to add an extra lap here to get everybody in the right spot with so many wave arounds. Lights should go out here. So there goes Benefiel and the ladder, everybody else. So there's your top 4 cars, able to pit under the yellow. Timing is everything in motorsports. Heard Steve Letarte say it numerous times. If you tell me when the cautions are going to come out, I'll tell you exactly when to pit. Problem is, we just don't know. No stage racing here in the IROC Challenge Series. And just as we expected, race officials are going to wave off the restart here, go one more lap, and let everybody get caught up. A lot of wave around cars here. That will put a bunch of drivers back on the lead lap, though, all the way down to Austin Beers, who still continues to fight in 27th. He was fast early on. He was part of our first caution with James Connolly. Kept working on the race car, has managed to keep it on the lead lap all night long. A valiant effort for the driver of that number 64 machine of Austin Beers. Still a little banged up, but still on all 4. I don't know. They're looking a little straggly here. They may wave this off again. We'll see. Front row dragging it back from the pace car a bit here, trying to give these guys some more time. Lap 129 to 150. Cofield is now the leader. 5 cautions for 16 laps and 6 lead changes as we're set for the restart after caution number 5. Cofield and Millett on the front row.
Green flag.
Cofield gets away, but Millett had a decent restart there, not to lose the second spot to James Connolly. Top 2 single file through 1 and 2. Carson Quapple roughing up Chris Mefford. Zach Millett with a run to the outside, takes a peek. Just inches to spare. Cofield can't come all the way up. Millett now to the outside through turns 1 and 2. Carson Quapple not far back either, but Chris Mefford not going to give an inch to the driver of that number 1. Cofield doing a great job defending that top spot, but Millett's going to lead that lap. Still hasn't gotten clear of the 58. Here comes Connolly. Millett with the lead still. Now he's clear. Connolly there giving the 31 a bit of a push, but Millett clears, goes down the bottom of the racetrack. Connolly can't hang with him, has to check up. They're 3 wide behind him as Chris Mefford now up into the 3rd position. Just 18 laps to go for Zach Millett. Millett put it outside pole tonight. Not quite enough to knock Terzak off the top spot. Can he bring it home to a win, though? He's got work to do because Carson Quapple is making his way forward and not wasting time. Up to 3rd now. Oh, a little bit of contact with Chris Mefford and Benefield. Connolly there at the back of this pack in 6th. Meanwhile, Zach Millett stretching his lead out in contact. Mefford hanging onto it still, gets into Benefield. And the yellow comes out again and a big wreck at the start-finish line. Chaos here at the start-finish line, entering turn number 1. Multiple cars involved. TJ Majors, Chris Mefford getting the worst of it, it looks. Adam Benefield, Christian Strader, James Connolly, all tore up from the floor up. As we're going to set for another restart here at Chicagoland Speedway. Wow. Mefford back out on the speedway. Still showing a mechanical black flag, but he's going to try and stay out if he can. He might come to pit lane, but I don't know. Let's go back and see what happened just a moment ago. So these guys were banging doors all the way through the corner here. Watch this 0 of Adam Benefield. He'll slide up the track a bit, rub doors with Chris Mefford, and you see, I think that's Connolly there in behind him. They're all tight together. He'll clip Benefield, which shoots him up the track into Mefford. Days of Thunder style into the wall. Both drivers headed down the racetrack. Connolly's going to try and sneak by on the outside. But they'll come together on the low side of the track, and it's going to shoot them both right up into traffic again. Connolly's going to get a big piece of this. Monster hit, driver's side for Adam Benefield, and the field's going to come here and plow. Watch TJ Majors here in the 6 get into Mefford. Major impact. Connolly gets hit the same way by Christian Strader. Watch this onboard TJ. Not ideal. Somehow that was Tyndall's fault again. I don't know what's going on with that 62. Other than the fact he's running 7th. Which is kind of puzzling to me. Maybe it was for point standings, because it says he's gained 39 spots, which means he started 46th. I think only 42 took the green. Things getting a little animated here at the end of this one at Chicagoland. So we're getting ready for the restart here, I think, in another lap. Indeed we are. Millett will take the bottom, Cofield up top. That'll be your front row. Then Josh Mears, Carson Quapple in row 2. Row 3 will be Brian McCann and Garrett Johnston. Josh Mears started 30th. He's going to restart 4th. Now, the way this one's going, folks, we have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. We're not there yet, but they're there if we need them. Here we go.
Green flag.
Oh, Cofield spun the tires. Millett gets away, but for how long? Is Quapple up to 2nd now as they roll through turns 1 and 2. Carson has been lights out fast here tonight. Will he have what it takes? Down the backstretch, Carson stalking Zach Millett. Look to the inside. A little bit of a feint there for the 1. Garrett Johnston now to 2nd. Cofield really hurt himself here, spinning the tires on the restart. He's back to 4th. Oh, Cofield now gets the wall off of turn number 2. Tyndall now to the 5th position. Beers, Bentz, Brian McCann, Adam Pettit, Timmy Schofield, the top 10. Millett still leads, coming to 11 laps to go. He's going to have to drive for his life here to hold off Carson Quapple. Cofield, though, not giving it up. Back on the charge here, trying to take 3rd from Garrett Johnston. Cofield, Johnston, side by side, coming to 10 to go. Johnston holds off Cofield for the time being. Meanwhile, Millett starting to stretch his lead just a bit. May have scraped the wall there off of turn number 2, but the advantage 3/10 back to Quapple. Last lap, Millett was a 10th faster than the 1. Still 10 laps to go. I think Quapple might be trying to let Millett get out in front here. Give Carson an opportunity here at drafting him a bit, building a run, kind of run him down. It's not a super speedway, but the draft comes into play. We've seen that a lot here tonight. Millett does have about 4 lap newer tires than Quapple. Granted, I think it was about a lap and a half, maybe 2 under the green flag. Millett swapping lanes, trying to break the draft just a touch. Advantage now 4/10 back to the 1. Cofield and Johnston, though, still fighting for that third spot. Cofield just can't get clear. Second, third, and fourth here in the frame. Quapple, the number 2 machine, with the number 1 on the door. Johnston hangs on to third, but he's all over Quapple right now. Cofield switching lanes, going to see if he can try and make something happen up top. Johnston able to hold him off. Little cross up there, Casey Bentz. Bentz running in the 6th position ahead of Josh Mears. Brian McCann there in the battle with Mears as well. And Austin Beers just outside the top 10 in 11th. What a miraculous comeback for the 2025 Tour Modified champion in that number 64. Working his way back through our first caution of the night. He kept it on the lead lap. He's been working on this thing all night long, and he's looking for the top 10. And he's got it. 2 cars up in the fence. Josh Mears and I think Brent Butler got up in the wall. Oh, more contact. Austin Mears trying to save it. No! And around goes the 64. The caution is out again, and it's going to set us up for a late restart. Mears will come to the pits. That's all she wrote for the 64. Can't say that I blame him. Worked so hard to get back up there just for that to happen. But now we're going to have another late restart, and it'll put Millett and Carson Quapple on the front row. And I don't know. This may put us to our first overtime attempt. I think it's going to. 7th caution of the night. Millett did not want to see this because he had stretched his lead out to almost a full second over the 5/1. Take a look at it again. Watch the 64. I think there's contact here with Mears. Yeah, Austin just came up the racetrack. Gets into the 36. Almost had it straightened out, but little tank slap clicks Timmy Schofield there. And a big hit on the left front. Tough way to end the night for Austin Beers. Yeah, Alan DeVries in the chat says, broadcaster's curse. Yeah, you're not kidding. As soon as I started talking about how much work he's put in tonight to get back up into the top 10, and that's where it ended. So Millett's going to have to hold off Carson Quapple here. Carson has been really fast on the short run. We'll see if Zach can hold him off. Again, not what Zach wanted to see here. He had stretched that lead out to almost a full second with just a handful of laps to go. This may actually put us into a natural green-white checkered finish here. So if that's the case, it would not count towards our allotment of 3. Millett drafting the pace car here. Now, lights stay on. So this is going to be a first attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Nope, now they're off. All right, so we're both right. It's going to be a green-white checkered attempt. Or will it? It's going to be a green and white checkered. So we're going to get the restart with the white flag. This is interesting. White Koch has green-white checker 1 of 3. Okay, yeah, I see it. So this is officially going to be an overtime finish. There's your answer. So here's how this works. Green flag will come back out. If there's a crash before the leader takes the white, we'll throw the yellow, we'll line them up, and we'll try it again. We'll do that up to 3 times to get this one in. Pace car about to head to pit lane.
Green flag, green
Green
flag.
back in the air. Good restart. Billet clear of Quapple through 1 and 2. Big battle behind them, though. 3 wide, 2 cars in the wall. They both straighten it back out. Billet breaks the draft down the backstretch. Billet with 3/10 over Carson Quapple. Coming down to the white flag. Barney with it in hand. There it waves. Final lap from Chicagoland. Billet, 1 more lap to go. He's got to hold off Carson Quapple, who's cut a 10th or 2 into that lead. But Blanchard now in the 3rd spot, applying pressure to the 1. Down the backstretch, into turn number 3 for the final time. Millet with 3/10 on 2nd place, but Blanchard coming up in a hurry. Haven't seen him most of tonight, but he's taken the 2nd spot from Carson Quapple. Coming down to the line, Zach Millet will hold on and take the victory in the Windy City 225. Blanchard surprises and takes 2nd from Carson Quapple, who finishes 3rd. Definitely had to earn that one. I think he's happy. Zach Millet picking up the win here at Chicagoland. We're going to break out, step aside with a quick break. Hopefully have our top 3 finishers in the booth after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Chicagoland Speedway, Zach Millett in thrilling fashion picking up the race win here in the Windy City 225. IROC Challenge Series race number 6 in the books. Had to hold off a hard-charging Carson Quapple and Ryan Blanchard there at the finish and survive a green-white checkered. Let's get a word with the driver of the number 31 from TCSP and Track Bar Motorsports, Zach Millett. Zach, it's Steve in the booth. You got me?
Hey, Steve, got a copy.
Congratulations, man. What a run to the finish. You kind of euchred yourself there with not taking tires on one of those late pit stops. You got an opportunity on the quick caution to come down and take those 4 tires. But, man, a tall order to work your way back through the field. I think restarted 24th and then drove it back to the front late in this race. Caution came out, put a few drivers a lap down. A lot of wave-around guys, but then there was Carson Quapple. They were hunting you at the end. Walk us through the closing laps of this one. What was going through your mind with that very fast number 1 behind you?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that was a pretty good example of Northern New York mathematics on my pit stop there. I just messed up my numbers something fierce and kind of put myself in a pretty good hole. So it was pretty hard to come up through the field. The dirty air was just insane. You basically just had to run where the guy in front of you wasn't. And it's hard to do that and save tires, so it was quite a deal. But yeah, that last couple starts there, it was everything to just get that restart nailed. You can't mess up a restart when you got that one car beside you. There was about 20 different guys fast enough to win this race, especially on the short run, and I didn't think I was one of them. I just haven't been very good lately on the short run, so glad we can kind of hold it together.
Carson Quapple was relatively dominant here tonight. Once he got out in front, he was checking out from a lot of these guys. Maybe not the fastest car in traffic. How was the dirty air out there tonight? This is a fast racetrack. I know these cars kind of punch a hole in the air, but what was it doing to the race car for you at least?
Oh, it was awful. It just took all the air right off your nose. And the worst spot was off the exit of either turn. It was anytime somebody would slide across your nose when you're just trying to not hit the wall and exit, it would just plow. And it was scary. I mean, because these cars are tight on the fixed setups anyway, so to make them even tighter, especially on exit, it was a nightmare.
Next week, Iowa Speedway. I guess it's a very fast short track, kind of like a Richmond Raceway on steroids. I know that's more in your wheelhouse. How do you feel about picking up maybe your 4th win of the season out in Iowa next week?
Oh man, I can't believe we got 3. Honestly, it's a surprise to me to have 3. Honestly, with this kind of competition in here, there's just so many fast drivers. It's a pleasure to finally run some IROC. Been wanting to do this for years, and Wally finally got me in here, so I'm pumped. And yeah, we'll see. Iowa will be fun. I mean, I like that style track. It's definitely kind of my favorite type. And I don't know. We'll see how the dirty air with these B cars feel there. I haven't run a race since the update, so I don't know. It might be fun like it used to be, or it might be insane.
Practice, practice, practice is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to definitely put some laps in.
Well, Zach, a job well done here tonight, picking up the win after an outside pole run with Kyle Terzak taking those top honors. But you win the battle here. You pick up the checkered flag, man. Congratulations. Who do you want to thank?
I haven't done this in a while, Steve. I'm all unprepared. But I got to give a shout-out to Kyle there, Terzak. I mean, I hate to see that happen to him in the beginning of the race. He had a ton of pace tonight, and he would have been there. You know, I'm convinced he was really fast tonight. And got to give a shout out to Gavin Hinson for hanging out with me in the Discord. I'm usually just kind of chilling down there by myself. Shout out to you, Steve, Track Limits Network, and all your viewers, of course. Shout out to IROC Series, Chris Wally, everything he does. He puts in a lot of time behind the scenes to make this possible for us to just come out every Tuesday and have fun. Shout out to Team Conti Sim Performance, as always, for everything they do for us. America Racing, EMR Paintball. Oh, let's see. All my lists are messed up. I think that's pretty much it. That S4 guy on Twitch, we thankfully streamed tonight. It's usually bad luck, so I hate to do it. But, yeah, we're throwing these up on Twitch and YouTube after, so, yeah, check them out.
All right, Zach. Congratulations again. Good luck next week in Iowa. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, man.
Zach Millett, your race winner here from Chicagoland Speedway. I think, unfortunately, that's all we're going to have for interviews. Ryan Blanchard, Carson Quapple are not available for comment tonight, but strong run by both of those drivers. Again, Blanchard started back in 14th, worked his way up into the second spot late and taking that position from Quapple in the closing laps on that green-white checkered finish. Of course, Carson Quapple starting 7th, not the fastest qualifying effort, but good enough to get him up there in contending for victory here tonight. He'll settle for P3. But that'll do it for us as far as the interviews are concerned. Let's jump out, take a look at our race results. Of course, we talked to Zach Millett, your race winner already. Ryan Blanchard finishes in the 2nd position. 3rd went to Carson Quapple. Brian McCann finishes 4th. Garrett Johnston was 5th. John Cofield, a strong car all night long. He'll come home P6. William Tyndall seemed to cause every wreck out there tonight, at least according to the stream chat. We're just kidding, Will. Casey Bentz was 8th. Brent Butler was 9th. Josh Mears came home with a top 10 in the 10th spot. Slade Benish was 11th. Doug Wysocki finishes 12th. The 60, Matt Mormon 13th. Chuck Sweeting was 14th. Chris Wally comes home in 15th. 16th was Kyle Hardy. Adam Pettit 17th. Mike Koch was 18th. Christopher Harrison 19th. Timmy Schofield finishes in the 20th position. 21st, Gavin Hinson. 22nd went to Neil Quick. Dan Dixon, 23rd. Austin Beers, man, I really feel for that guy. Had a strong car early, contending in the top 10. First caution of the night, bent up race car, went to work, got it fixed, stayed on the lead lap, kept working on it, found himself in the top 10 in the closing laps just to be involved in another crash that ended his day early. He'll finish 24th. Jason Nilgis was 25th, Kyle White 26th, Steve Durbin was 27th. TJ Majors, another front runner here tonight. Very fast race car in a wreck late. He'll finish 28th. James Connolly, another quick guy, 29th. Christian Strader was up there as well, involved in the same incident. He'll finish 30th. Adam Benefiel, same story, 31st. Chris Mefford, another crash for him as well, 32nd. Andrew Williams was 33rd. Steven Steffen finishes in the 34th spot. 35th went to Kyle Pendergraft. Devin Aker, 36th. 37th, Dale Earnhardt Jr., also involved in a crash. Marty Lindley was 38th. Evan Vecchia, 39th. Cameron Brownlow, 40th. 41st, Kyle Campbell. And 42nd and last, the pole sitter, Kyle Terzak. 42nd position tonight, 92 laps down. Everybody else below that, Dylan Pettis, Chris Goins, Matt Kopp, Funkhauser, Ruzick, Green. Craig Bristol was actually our live admin here tonight, and Brandon Mefford. They did not start tonight's race due to qualifying. But those are your race results here from the Windy City 225. What a race we had tonight. A great one to get back live here on Track Limits Network. Thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight. Certainly appreciate it. Still battling the sickness. It was a tough one, but it was a fun one to call. You guys certainly made it easier with the race that you put on here tonight. Don't forget, next week, Iowa Speedway here at Track Limits Network. Be here about 9 p.m. in the East. Same time, same channel, here at Track Limits for the IROC Challenge Series out at Iowa. That'll do it for us. Thank you again for tuning in tonight. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.